Let's say China.
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 China. China. China.
There are no storm neighbors, and you can actually see Russia from land here in Alaska.
Go over to China.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Trump statement, tweeting out insults to Angela Merkel. What's he doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your host.
Yes. Hello, and welcome. I am James Andrews, and you are listening to So This Happened, the only news you need if your name is David, Paul, John, Stephen, Helen, Susie. You get the idea. Pretty much everybody. It is Thursday, the 12th of October 2017, and today, President Empathy is at it again. Donald Trump has been attacking someone. I know, that in of itself is not a surprise. Any day ending with a Y finds Donald Trump attacking someone. But today, mysteriously, he is attacking Puerto Rico, or how was it you said it, Donald?
Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico.
Oh, that's right, Puerto Rico. Anyway, Donald Trump tweeted today, Puerto Rico survived the hurricanes. Now a financial crisis looms, largely of their own making. A total lack of accountability. Electric and all infrastructure was disaster before hurricanes. Congress to decide how much to spend. We cannot keep FEMA, the military, and the first responders, who have been amazing under the most difficult circumstances, in PR forever. And I think it's important to remember now that there are 3.4 million people living in Puerto Rico, and Donald Trump, guess what? They're all US citizens, mate. So sending out a tweet like this, like you're doing them a favor, like we sent our military over there and our FEMA and our first responders to help this small island in the middle of the ocean. It's your island in the middle of the ocean, dickhead. I mean, could you imagine the outrage if Donald Trump had said that about Florida or Texas? You know, oh, Texas is a fucking disaster, absolute mess, and we're down there spending all our federal dollars on Texas. Jesus. And Florida, don't even get me started on Florida. They take so much money from the US, it's not even funny, Florida. Ha! You're on your own next time. It's just amazing that Donald Trump's xenophobia even extends to his own country when he doesn't realise that it's his own country, because clearly that tweet that he sent, well, 3 tweets, because 140 characters, he couldn't write all that nonsense in, but he clearly doesn't see Puerto Rico as part of the US. Maybe it's because he didn't win Puerto Rico, I don't know. And that was a trick, wasn't it? Because Puerto Rico isn't actually allowed to vote in the presidential elections. They can vote in the primaries, and they voted predominantly for Marco Rubio, so maybe he's a bit salty about that one. But this is another case, isn't it, where we see Donald Trump criticising something because we know the situation in Puerto Rico right now is dire. It's a really bad situation. This hurricane really messed them up. And so Donald Trump can't win it. He can't say, look, we fixed Puerto Rico, it's fantastic. So what he does is says, well, it was a mess before the hurricane. The hurricane's got nothing to do with how bad the country is. It's a shit place to live. Why would anybody want to even live there anyway? It's like fucking Mexico in the middle of the ocean. So he's already diverting blame away from him and his administration onto the people of Puerto Rico for just having a really crap infrastructure to start with. And it's something we've seen him doing over and over again. If he knows the situation's not going to go his way, he just blames somebody else entirely. It's really unfortunate because Puerto Rico really does need help right now, and since they are part of the US, it really shouldn't be that much of a big deal for the US to help part of the US. And to make the matter even more confusing and to show that the White House literally has no idea what the left hand is doing, what is that phrase? What the White House has no idea what their right hand is, whatever, you know what I'm talking about, that left hand, right hand thing. I can't think of the quote right now, but they have no idea what's going on. That's basically what I'm trying to say, because Mike Pence today said this about Puerto Rico.
We are with you today. We will be with you tomorrow. We will be with you every day.
So which is it? Are we going to pull everyone out of Puerto Rico, or are we in fact going to stand with them every single day? It's very confusing, isn't it? It's sort of, the right hand does not know what the left hand is doing. Here you go, nailed it. Thank you very much. I thank you. Thank you. Yes, I nailed a very simple quote. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh God, you're too kind. Thank you. Wow, well that was unexpected and appreciated. Wow, lovely. You guys are special. You're very special. Anyway, here's something that you may not want to cheer about. Donald Trump today signed a new executive order. And this is on healthcare. And experts have said that this one order could upend Obamacare without ever having to go through Congress. So let's have a listen to what the president said right after he signed his enormous signature on the piece of paper.
But 7 years ago, congressional Democrats broke the American healthcare system by forcing the Obamacare nightmare onto the American people. It has been a nightmare. You look at what's happening with the premiums and the increases of 100% and 120%, and even in one case, Alaska, over 200%. And now every congressional Democrat has blocked the effort to save Americans from Obamacare, along with a very small, frankly, handful of Republicans. 3. And we're going to take care of that also, because I believe we have the votes to do block grants at a little bit later time, and we'll be able to do that. Premiums have gone skyrocketing. But today, 1/3 of all the counties in America have only a single insurer selling coverage on an exchange, and next year it looks like nearly half of all counties in our country. Think of that. All of the counties, 1/2, will have only one insurer. And many will have none. Many will have absolutely created roadblocks for people to have any form of the insurance we're talking about. This is why in a few moments I will sign an executive order taking the first steps to providing millions of Americans with Obamacare relief. It directs the Department of Health and Human Services, the Treasury, and the Department of Labor to take action to increase competition, increase choice, and increase access to lower-priced, high-quality health care options. And they will have so many options. This will cost the United States government virtually nothing, and people will have great, great health care. And when I say people, I mean by the millions and millions.
Okay, so there's Donald Trump talking about this executive order that he signed today. And, well, what does it really do, and what does it mean for you? Well, according to some experts, what this plan will do is it will allow for lower insurance rates for younger people, but those who have medically complex issues, so pre-existing conditions, people who are over 40, over 50, they're going to be subjected to significant rate hikes, which is sort of the exact opposite of what Donald Trump just promised there, wasn't it? He said this is going to give inexpensive insurance to millions and millions of people. But the reality of it is, that's not what it's going to do at all. Now, there are two things that this executive order is going to impact primarily. Now, the first one is small businesses. So under these proposed changes, what will happen is small businesses will be able to opt out of the Obamacare regulation that said they have to provide health care that meets certain requirements. And now that's not necessarily going to be the case. So if a company has a lot of young people working for them, they can say, okay, well, we don't need prostate exams, mammograms, we don't need any of that stuff. Let's just do a bare bones insurance package, which they're going to be happy with and isn't going to cost us a lot of money. The downside to that is that it's going to encourage these small businesses to only hire young, inexperienced people, because anybody who's over a certain age, the insurance isn't going to work for them because it's not going to cover what they need it to cover. So if a company buys one of these low price insurance companies, so everybody's insured, but it doesn't cover maternity care or prescription drugs, any of that, any single employee of that company is literally a day away from bankruptcy. If they get hit by a car, if they get cancer, if they get any of these diseases which are going to be massively expensive, the insurance that they're going to have won't cover any of that. So, although on the surface, yeah, cheap insurance, that sounds great. The reality is, if something bad happens, which unfortunately it inevitably will happen to somebody, that person is going to be, for want of a better word, fucked. And the second aspect of healthcare that this executive order will affect is short-term insurance. Now, under the Obamacare system right now, people are allowed to buy short-term plans for up to 90 days. Now, this covers between if you're leaving one job and starting a new job, you can buy this insurance that then covers you so you're not without health insurance. Now, these plans, they don't have the same rules as other insurances, so they don't have to cover pre-existing conditions and they only provide certain benefits, but it allows people to be covered in between that short period of time where they are not covered by their job. Under Donald Trump's order, what he's asking the government to do is extend that short-term plan to, well, pretty much any amount of time that you want. So people will be able to buy into these lower-priced, in quotes, short-term insurance plans, stay on them for a extended period of time, and thereby get out of paying the fines if they don't have Obamacare. Okay, so I hear you saying, well, what's wrong with that? Isn't it good that people can buy cheaper insurance? And yes, of course, it's always good if insurance can be cheaper. But the problem with this is that if people are healthy, they can choose to opt out of Obamacare and go on to this short-term insurance, which they'll be allowed to keep all year round, and then at the end of the year just renew the short term. What this does is it's going to affect the Obamacare exchanges, and it's going to make Obamacare sicker. So that's going to prompt insurers to raise the rates on that. So the increasing rates that we're seeing currently will go even higher because of this. And again, the only people that are going to be affected by this is the slightly older people or people who are sick or have pre-existing conditions. So this executive order that Donald Trump signed, he was up there today talking about how it's going to save people millions and millions of dollars and everyone's going to be able to buy cheap insurance. But it's complete bullshit, because the people who will be able to buy cheaper insurance are going to be young, healthy people. Anybody who's had any disease, whether it be cancer or epilepsy, diabetes, you name it, they will not be able to take advantage of any of this executive order, and they will be forced to buy into the Obamacare program, which is going to be pushed even higher because of this executive order. And again, this just comes around to what everybody has been saying. We need to fix Obamacare, not repeal it. The idea is sound. The idea that everybody can be insured and nobody is going to be fucked if they get sick, that's a wonderful idea. Right now, it doesn't work, and I don't think there's anybody in America who will argue that Obamacare is perfect and works right now, because it isn't, and it doesn't. But instead of signing executive orders which are going to screw a lot of people, isn't it time to just sit down and say, you know what, party politics aside, Democrat, Republican, who fucking cares, let's just do something that is actually going to be good for all the American people. And let's fix this thing called Obamacare. And anyway, we are out of time, unfortunately, for the day. It's been a good conversation as always. And if you'd like to continue it, we can do so on Twitter at SoThisHappen. You can also subscribe and like the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you want. Now, I don't know if there's going to be a show tomorrow. It's my birthday, so it depends if I feel like doing it, to be honest. And if I do it, I may have a cocktail or 2 or 3 in my hand, so it may turn out to be really fun, so maybe we will do it. If we do, I will chat with you tomorrow. If we don't, have an absolutely spectacular weekend, and we'll do it again on Monday. Good night.